In our Sunrise Smart Start, one person is dead after a high-rise fire in Rochester around 7 last night.
Crews were called to the Hudson Ridge Towers after witnesses say they saw heavy smoke pouring out. Due to the size of the building, the fire was escalated to a second alarm, and when it was confirmed people were trapped, it was raised to a third alarm with at least 16 fire companies responding. The fire was located on the 11th floor, and firefighters were able to put it out within 20 minutes. The person who died did make their way out of the building, but later succumbed to their injuries. The trial for James Krausneck, the man accused of murdering his wife Kathleen, continuing yesterday in court.
Kathleen was found dead in her home in Brighton from an axe to the back of her skull some 40 years ago. Prosecution says evidence shows Krausneck committed the act coming back from work just before 5 p.m. and then ran over to his neighbor's house. Now, the defense says they believe there isn't enough attention on another suspect they believe is key, a convicted murderer who lived on the street, Edward Larrabee. Larrabee allegedly confessed to killing Kathleen in a letter before his death in prison 30 years later. But Brighton police say they don't have any evidence that anyone other than James was ever at that scene.
Timothy Grannison, the estranged husband of former Rochester Mayor Lovely Warren, has been sentenced to 32 months in prison. Back in April, Grannison pleaded guilty to the federal charge of conspiracy to distribute 500 grams or more of cocaine. In July, Grannison was also found guilty on a state charge of child endangerment for an unsecured rifle found in his home during a search conducted by police.
First day of school for many in our area, James. Many walking to school or maybe taking their bike.
Yeah, certainly keep an eye out for those walkers and bikers that hit the sidewalks, hit the roads as we head off to school and work. Mostly dry roads. You may find some puddles out there from rain overnight. We had some light rain showers, patchy fog this morning, a very similar forecast to yesterday as we'll deal with those light passing showers. Highs only in the upper 60s again. Yes, we'll have to wait until tomorrow to break that number, break this pattern. We'll likely get into the 70s. Couple of days in the 80s. Looks like by the end of the week, we'll go over the 8-day forecast at the end of the show. Allie, Amel?
All right, James, thank you. A final look at our roads and our sunrise traffic. Same story still out there. No accidents to report. 390, 490, 590 are clear, so should be a smooth ride into work or to school.
Well, as we said, it's back to school for many in our area this week, and this morning our coverage continues as Rochester City School District students head back to the classroom.
Jatara Marsh live at school number 8 this morning as they prepare for the first day of class. Jatara, good morning. I'm sure lots of excitement there at the school this morning.
Good morning, Allie and Amel. I'm here at Roberto Clemente School number 8. The energy is high. We are anticipating the students coming in. Time is winding down. Joining me here is the principal, Stephanie Thompson. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. We're great. We're energized. We're ready to go. Thank you for being here this morning.
So I've noticed that there are more staff in the building than when we first got in here. How many staff is at the school this year?
We have just about over 100 staff. We have 460 students as of yesterday. We are a pre-K through 8th grade building, so we have anywhere from 3-year-olds to 15-year-olds joining us for this first day. We're so excited.
So now, could you tell me about this wall that we see here? What's the significance behind that?
Sure. This was one of our professional development sessions that we had this summer, and it was optional, but it was all in regards to staff resiliency, and the staff had to identify their core values and share an optimistic thought for the school year.
Awesome. So now let's touch on these backpacks that you see behind us. What's with that?
Sure. So the district, we had a couple of, the district purchased backpacks for all of our students, so they will be receiving backpacks. And Staples also donated school supplies, so you'll see over to the yellow boxes. So all the families, are either our parents or students when they come in, can have backpacks and school supplies.
And what time are the students expected to arrive today?
Students will be here starting at 7:30, but we imagine some will be coming at around 7:15 due to the excitement.
All right, exciting times, exciting times. Well, that's all we have. We are waiting for the students to come. Reporting live in Rochester, Jatara Marsh. Back to you guys.
All right, Jatara, such an exciting day. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. Earlier this summer, RCSD did report they had nearly 300 open positions.
That's right, but now they reported that all of those positions have been filled.
Staying with our back-to-school coverage, with the Return to School, American Heart Association is offering suggestions to parents about how to pack a heart-healthy lunch. Experts recommend sticking with foods low in saturated fat and cholesterol, like fruits and vegetables, while including lean meats such as fish, chicken, and turkey. They add that talking with children about and educating them about eating healthy will help them make better choices on their own.
The American Academy of Pediatrics is advising that all children receive a flu vaccine as soon as it's available, ideally by the end of October. It's recommended for children 6 months and older, with rare exception. The AAP says vaccines are the best way to prevent severe illness and keep kids in the classroom. Their new policy statement shows there was a low flu vaccine coverage last year, with just 55% of children vaccinated. While flu infection rates were lower last season, likely due to COVID precautions, health experts are concerned there will be more flu and other respiratory viruses this season.
For students riding the bus to school, the bus driver shortage seen across the nation still something many districts and families are thinking about this year. Some districts in our area are saying recruitment efforts over the summer are paying off, however. Greece has around 25 bus drivers. They're still looking for more. And a spokesperson for Fairport Central School says they're in the process of training new drivers as well. They're still in need of up to 10 more people to eliminate the need for contracted employees.
Rochester General Hospital is seeing an increase in what's called diversion status for its emergency room. This is what happens when ambulances are told to take patients to other hospitals if it can be done safely. This has happened more frequently over the past few years, and before 2020, the last diversion was almost a decade prior. Now, since the pandemic, it's happened a few times. Dr. Keith Grams, the chair of emergency medicine at RGH, emphasizes that you will still be seen at the ER. They're not turning people away. Dr. Grams also tells us there are action plans that the hospital is efforting, this to get more staff on board to help provide some relief to the emergency department.
Now for some national news. Uvalde, Texas. Public schools reopening yesterday morning for the first time since a mass shooting back in May. Robb Elementary, where 19 students and two teachers were murdered, did not reopen and is expected to be demolished. Other schools now surrounded by protective fencing with additional security cameras and upgraded door locks. But some parents and students say they still don't feel safe.
Investigators say the body found near the University of Memphis is 34-year-old Eliza Fletcher, the jogger who went missing last Friday. The suspected kidnapper, 38-year-old Cletha Abston, now faces murder charges. Police add Abston has a history in crimes like this. 22 years ago, he kidnapped a prominent Memphis attorney who was able to escape. Abston was sentenced to 24 years in prison, but was released early in 2022.
Looking at gas prices, OPEC plus countries, including Kazakhstan, Malaysia, Mexico, and Russia, are cutting oil production starting in October. According to AAA, that means 100 barrels a day will get cut. Those barrels represent 0.1% of all global demand. Mark Gruba with AAA says as hurricane season approaches, prices usually increase, but this is the first time in 25 years there hasn't been a hurricane to talk about.
The Rochester Police Department celebrating some of its members as they move up ranks yesterday. 3 sergeants have received promotions, with 2 being promoted to lieutenant and 1 to commander. The promotions adding more management and supervision skills to those in the position. The RPD is still short 83 officers, with nearly 800 candidates registered to take the certification test September 17th, which is the very first step in the hiring process.
The Veterans Outreach Center recognizing Suicide Awareness and Prevention Week by releasing 22 butterflies yesterday at Highland Bowl. The 22 butterflies symbolize the 22 veterans lost each day to suicide. As the week continues, the VOC is spreading awareness of those suffering, saying veterans are nearly 2 times more likely to commit suicide than non-veterans. Participants also given handheld flags to raise as butterflies were released.
Plus, at the state capitol, quilts were on display. Each of the quilts made by someone who lost a loved one to suicide. The quilts come from the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, an organization that has been collecting and displaying quilts like these for more than 20 years. For those looking for help, you can call 988 to speak with someone.
All right, well, here's what some people might be talking about at the water cooler this morning. A pair of tickets for Michael Jordan's debut game going to auction, I should say. The tickets expected to go between $200,000 and $300,000. The basketball legend was 21 at the time, playing his first game as a member of the Chicago Bulls at Chicago Stadium. That was back on October 26, 1984. That auction runs from September 19th through the 29th. Expensive ticket.
Yeah.
Very expensive.
Right. Yeah, a little bit pricier now than it was going to the game.
Back in the day, yeah, just
sure.
a tiny bit.
Right, yeah. We're playing basketball inside, I think, today with the clouds and the rain showers around. Just really kind of a light drizzle going to be possible for our friends going to the first day of school. Mostly cloudy over Lake Ontario. You see a little bit of clearing skies off in the distance. We'll try. It's going to be tough, though, today, certainly to get any clearing. Numbers stuck in the 60s through this afternoon. We finally break the pattern tomorrow. We'll get into the 70s. The sun comes out, and then 80s by Friday and Saturday. It'll feel warm compared to the past couple of days.
All right, James, thank you. And thanks so much for watching News 8 at Sunrise.
Our next update is coming up in 30 minutes. CBS Mornings is next.